Today is Wednesday, May 7th, and it's been a great day. I may or may not have mentioned on Monday that I was, had something that I'm working on. I got a little bit of better news, or really good news today, and I think I'll know more definitively next week. But nonetheless, it's great news, and it reinforces to me that I'm on the right path. I've said from the beginning, the purpose of these videos is, twofold. First, so that I can talk to myself and I can look back at these both in the immediate future and then further in the future to say, hey, continue doing and continue growing, and then eventually look back and go, look, this is where I was. And maybe if I'm helping other people, they can look back and see that, it really was difficult. And the journey, the story that he says, I mean, you can see it in real time. You can see the desperation, the brokenness, some of the self-doubt that comes through in the video. And I want that. And I got to tell you, just to tell you, it's not easy because I'm putting it out here now. I'm not waiting until I have success and it's just like, oh, look at me, that was in the past. No, it's right now. And that's difficult. That's very difficult to do. And but I'm beyond humbled, and I'm very grateful for that because I don't think I was able. I'm 53 years old, and I think I only recently, the beginning of the year began, and I'd studied Christianity my entire life, Catholicism. I was raised Catholic, so I studied the Bible. Decades ago, or over a decade ago, I watched that movie, The Secret, and I started, some of those things really resonated with me, but even that, so nothing hit. And I finally, at the end of last year, had to make a decision that, you know what, you either keep doing what you're doing, and you're just gonna stay where you are, or you gotta make a dramatic change. And so I set in place the disciplines that I do every day, and I don't necessarily follow any one set of teaching, but I try to compile everything together, both from all religions that I know or that I've studied, all the teachings of the great thinkers, Alan Watts, Neville Goddard, Dr. Dyer, some of the more recent, Elmer Locker, Brian Scott. Saw a lady today, and I apologize, I can't remember her name, but I really liked her, and I'll be following her. So anyway, I kind of use a compilation of everything, and I'm kind of find my way. But I do have my disciplines that I do every day, and if you've not watched previous videos, I'll tell you, when I wake up in the morning, I initially start with gratitude, spend a few minutes just thinking about things that I'm grateful for. That leads into prayer or meditation, however you want to call it, and I just try to open myself and just really clear my mind, and then I lead into the imagination part of it, which is kind of an extension of prayer, where I put myself or attempt to put myself in the life that I want. In fact, the lady that I listened to earlier had a very good point, and Neville Goddard has said it as well. But what's really important is that you don't focus on the very specific avenue of, you really want to focus on that feeling that because that's really what we're looking for. Whether it's more money, a better relationship, you're looking for a feeling inside. If it's a relationship, you want love, you want appreciation, you want to love, and you want to feel a connection. If it's financial, you want security, you want freedom, you want to be able to provide for your family. And in my case, all of those things, but also very importantly, helping others. And so when I'm doing it, I try to really use that one a lot of, well, a couple. One, bringing what it's going to feel like to give my wife a gift, my mother, my father, something that, that really, something that maybe they never thought they'd have. Our grandbaby, just pretty much everything for And then people in general. Just to be able to reach people, a random person, to make their life better. Not for me, I want to do things as anonymously as possible. If I give someone gifts for Christmas, I don't want to knock on the door, have the family come. I want to be able to get the dad, pull him aside, say, hey man, you can let your wife know if you want, but I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to feel like you're failing your family. Number one, you're not failing them, but you're going to really wow them with the Christmas this year, and it's coming from you, not me. And I damn sure don't want to be the one that anybody thanks for it, period, because that to me would feel better than all the rest of it. Just knowing that you were able to give that man some pride, that man and woman maybe, to provide for their children. And so, that's what I try to do, is focus on that feeling. And there's a Bible verse, Mark 11:24, where Jesus, and I'm not quoting verbatim, but basically said that when you pray with the belief that you've already received and it's yours. And I think that was one of Jesus' central messages, is that the kingdom of God is within us. And the only way through to the kingdom of heaven is through what he's teaching, through when he says through him, it's through his way. And I believe that. I believe fully that, that message it's the greatest message ever. And Jesus died because of that. I believe that was the reason they killed him, was because they knew that he did know the kingdom of God, that he didn't depend on the Pharisees and the leaders of the government at the time. So, I get it. It's not easy. When you're at the bottom of the well, to look up and to see a glimmer of light that's so far away you're not even sure if it's light, to not be able to the walls are slick, there's no climbing even, you can't even fathom where to begin to get out. It's pitch black, you can't even see to find anything. To tell that person, hey, come on, pick yourself up and imagine what it's like to not be there. That's a daunting task, but unfortunately it is our task. It is what you got to do. Because no one else can do it for you. But you can reach out to other people for help, and you can help others. That is something, that's all we have. And without that, it might be impossible. But, Jesus said to love one another as you love yourself, and you have to do both. So if you don't love yourself, you got to work on that first before any of this else. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love you. I love you, until it doesn't feel stupid anymore. And I say that because it does at first. You feel like, a dork, and it's comical. But it isn't. Because God created you. And when you look in the mirror, you're looking at you're looking at a piece of God. God's creation. He poured himself into that. And so you better love it, because you know it and it knows you better than any other relationship you have. So start there and then spread that love. And if we could all get over the desire to be right, to have the right religion, the right political view, that everyone else is wrong. Look, it's great. Our country, our world is best when everyone doesn't necessarily agree on everything. But you can't make that your identity. And I don't want to get sidetracked into that. I'm sure at some point I'll do some videos about my beliefs in that area. But I think that love unites everyone, and that's really the answer to all of your problems and every problem in the world. I really appreciate you listening. I hope that somebody can get something from this. Please reach out to me. You can leave a comment, leave advice, suggestions. if you want to bash someone, if you're just angry, you got to lash out at someone, don't do it to your husband, your wife, your children. Do it to the dirt. You know, here, me, Rhett. Call me names. You can't hurt my feelings. You just can't. There's nothing you're going to say to me that is even on the remote same level as the horrible, horrible things I've said to myself. And I mean that. So vent, let it out. I'd rather you do it to me and then turn around and tell your wife you love her than for you to say something stupid to her that you don't mean and hurt her and hurt yourself. I'll be back on Friday. Well, we have our grandbaby, so either Friday or Saturday, or maybe sometime in between. I'm going to start doing these a little bit more off the cuff, just whenever I feel it. Again, I appreciate it, and we're going to all make it.